Hi guys. Um, me back at it again. Another video. It's been a minute since I talked to y'all. It's last video I made, I believe, was in. I think a month ago. I think it was a month ago since I talked to y'all, and I haven't talked to y'all all of April. April was some crazy shit. I'm not gonna lie. And I have like my little journal where I'm gonna break down everything. I know it's been a minute, but I have a new camera. I got a new camera. It's 4K. So if you are seeing like every single nook and cranny right now on me, it's because I'm not using a generic camera no more. I'm not using no generic camera no more. But yeah, it's been a minute since I talked to y'all. We are at the, I believe, almost 7 month mark of me having locks in my head. If you are new to this channel, I am documenting my lock journey and how long they get, how healthy it is, and everything in between. I started my locks October 8th of 2025. It is officially 2026, and it is now the month of May. And I haven't talked to y'all since I think March of this year. So this is where the locks are at right now. I have them out and not covered finally, and I'm not crashing out with my bonnet on. Um, the back is starting to grow more to the shoulder length, and the midsection is finally getting to around the nose and lip area, and then I have my front section, or my top layer, if you will, that's reaching the glasses. So the layer, like, my hair is layered. Obviously, when I cut my hair, I had it in layers, and I've always had layers growing up and everything in between. But yeah. So yeah. All right. So first things first. I guess what I'm gonna get into is really just bouncing off of everything that I did last video. Last video was definitely a crash out video. I definitely crashed the living fuck out. I was very, very frustrated, and I had a lot of different things going on as of, work, finance, school, personal life, and everything. And, a lot of things were just coming to a close, if that makes any sense. A lot of things were coming to a close where I was very, very stressed out because as everything was coming to a close, I had so much new things, coming to my horizon, coming to my attention, and it just stressed me out really, really, really bad because I didn't really have a staple work and school balance at all. I really didn't. And also, I was like finalizing things when it came to, like living situations and stuff like that. And then also finalizing car things and, reconsidering school things. Like, there was like so much reconsideration, consideration, subscribing, unsubscribing. It was like, oh my god, nothing is sticking, nothing is staying. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Well, I haven't talked to y'all for about like a month. Like I said, haven't talked to y'all for a month, and a lot has happened within that month. And a lot of good things, actually. A lot of good things has happened and everything since I last talked to y'all. And a lot of other things that have opened my eyeballs. So first things first is getting accused of AI. I didn't expect this to ever happen to me, like, at all, because I very much do what I need to do when it comes to research and when it comes to citing sources and everything. And mind you, the psychology classes at my college are only 7 weeks. Me personally, I don't believe that a psychology class should be 7 weeks unless it is within a J term, when instead of 15 weeks, you take class for 7 weeks and, just go about your day. But to do a normal class, like psychology is too there's too many components to psychology for it to be just 7 weeks when you're taking it in a 15-week semester. I personally do not think that that is a proper, feasible like time at all to cover everything that you want in psychology. But one of the assignments we had to do was a research paper. Now, when it comes to research, I try to take everything that I learn in class and apply it to, what I want to research in specifically. And one of the things that I did my research paper on was how the black community tends to get a really bad misread clinically when it comes to schizophrenia and schizoactivity, and how someone within the black diaspora is more likely to get misread as schizophrenic or somebody that has schizoactivity rather than somebody who, is of a different demographic. And mainly pertaining to the fact that historically, for the past 400 or 500 some years, we have gone every decade. We have not caught a break. We have not caught a break from the time that we were legally brought here to now, where we are in our consciousness. We have not caught a break, and we still have not caught a break. But besides the point, that's a different video for another time. I was really passionate about that topic. And, that's really what has me in psychology in the first place. I want to help my people out. And I want to be able to break some stigmas with not just, basic research, but with the power of science and neuroscience, of that, whatever it may be. But I wrote that paper on that. Mind you, it was only like 1.5 pages long. It wasn't really that long and everything. We had a word count, and I was like, we're doing word count. I'm not trying to do that much then. This is for an associate, but I still want to show some like integrity. I want to show that like I put in the work to do this, paper and everything. I may not talk like I got extensive vocabulary, but I really do. I use big girl words. I know how to talk. I know how to spell. I know how to read. I know how to write. I'm competent. I'm a competent young woman, okay? I'm a competent young woman. Once I see that originality checker, I just know how many office hours I'm going to be at. Because I made a video on TikTok about it. I already did, I said what I needed to say in that one, but I'm just going to recap on what I basically said. And I was like, I just find it like, como se dice, bullshit, how you want to put in your syllabus that you are against AI. You are against AI. You don't even want us using Grammarly, which traditionally is a spell checker. Just want to put that out there. It is a spell checker. But you saying that you personally, that you do not want freaking AI in your syllabus, but you put my paper through AI to check if AI is even there. Dog, you might as well just put up that degree and start working. Not what? Okay. Respectfully, I'm not rocking with that, dog. I'm not rocking with that. I had an assignment where I did use Grammarly to check to see if I typed out a citation correctly. And I was straight up with her. I was honest because she knocked my shit as AI 100%. I said, well, I was like, yeah, I did use it, to change the space here or there. But other than that, that was it. She goes, you're not supposed to use like Grammarly. I was like, you know what? I'll take the L. Whatever. I do everything in my power to not get docked with AI, and I get docked with it again anyway. All right. So just know I'm putting in an academic complaint now, and that's great. That's amazing. It's actually really annoying because I have to sit here and do that, but I shouldn't have to dumb down my intellect because you think that it's AI. AI only knows how to type like that because of students and researchers who actually have a very extensive vocabulary, who know how to spell, read, write, and comprehend. But that's besides the point. That's way besides the point. I'm just still frustrated that that even happened, and that, mind you, when I had it regraded and I had to sit and wait for like almost 2 hours to reach her office hours because I wasn't the only student that she docked AI for, I feel like I got some BS comments back because I really wanted her to like engage with my paper and give me some like really good feedback on how I can expand off that topic and how I could, you know, make write it better, or, you know, like, hey, these parts are really good. Like, I feel like I didn't get that. And then just the whole thing of like, your students who did use it, in fact, they used it to dumb down their words, you gave them almost like full points. But I had to, but not just me, but maybe a couple, but the students who had to come to you basically to get their grade back. You give, what are you giving us back? Like, I got a 51 out of 70. I feel like I should at least got a 60, or if it had to be within the 50 range, 58 or 57, 57, 58. You gave me 51 points back, but anyways, besides the point. Honestly, that just really like, that's what really killed my integrity with school, to be honest with you. That killed my integrity because I already struggled enough within college, and, you know, with trying to pass certain classes or engage with certain classes that just I did not have enough discipline to really sit and do and everything, especially because I've just been go, go, go. Like, at art school, I finished my freshman year with like 33 credits. I finished my freshman year with 33 credits, came back, did like about 18 freaking credits, and then this year I'm like, I cannot do any more credits. Like, I really cannot do any more credits and stuff like that, which leads to my next thing. I decided to take a semester off. I'm not going to be engaging in school for the fall semester. What I'm really going to be engaging in is myself. And I told my mom this actually because, like, you know, yeah, I told my mom this. You know, that relationship has gotten a little better with my mom and everything and stuff like that. Which I'm gonna talk about that a little bit before I get into it. But like, I know I haven't made it very, very like radio known, but like, me and my mom's relationship has definitely been a rocky road. It's definitely been like a up and down kind of situation because I'm not really the closest to my mother, but I'm not the farthest to her either. It's very much, it's one of those situations where it's like, you're not completely far away, but you're far enough to where it's a comfortable position. So if you choose to kind of be a little, you know, if and or but at some point, I have you at a safe distance where it's not going to do too much and everything in between. But, you know, we're talking a little bit more, you could say. You know, we're talking a little bit more. But I told her, I was like, genuinely, I cannot push myself any further than I pretty much already have. Like, for the past like 2.5 years, I have burnt myself out. I have completely and utterly burnt myself out academically. Within the world of academia, I have burnt myself out. I cannot focus on another paper, can't focus on another assignment. Genuinely, if I do another assignment, I think I am going to blow. I'm going to blow, I'm going to burst, and that is not going to be a very pretty picture. And I'm not saying this as in like I don't think I could do school, so I'm just going to stop it altogether. No, I can very much do school, but the thing is, within these past 2.5 years that I've done school, I've also neglected myself. I've neglected my health, neglected my mental health, neglected my physical being at some points. Like, I've neglected a lot of things where, like, I mean, school, at the end of the day, you're going to be giving up time when you choose to go to school. That is the push, that's the give and take that you accept when you go to school. But the thing is, the way I was neglecting basic daily things like eating breakfast or eating dinner, eating lunch, or, like basically pushing myself to extreme lengths to get something done and hyperfixating on it in a very unhealthy way, and then not being able to time manage properly. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in any more endangerment than I already have for these, past couple years. And I'm not going to waste any more money than I have when I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. So, you know, I chose to basically take a semester off, not because I'm giving up on myself, but because I'm giving myself the wiggle room and the leg room and the breathing room to be able to be one with myself before I even give up any more time. Because I'm gonna be very honest with y'all, like, I want to be a forensic psychologist, and there's a lot of things that I want to do, and it's very, for the path that I'm taking to get to this is very time consuming, very time consuming. Sometimes it can be very isolating as well, in a way, if you are really doing a lot all at once. And I'm in a I'm at a very pivotal point where I'm like, I've isolated myself enough, but it's not getting me anywhere. But also, I've given up so much of my brain at a very tender point in time where I feel like I have nothing else to give. There is nothing else to give. There's nothing for me to give up, because that cup is now empty and I have nothing else to pitch. No, there's no pitch, there's no presentation, because there's nothing to show. There's really nothing to show. And I told my parents, because my dad, he's very college heavy, which I have nothing against education. Education is elevation. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But at the same time, I told my parents, I was like, I don't think I'm ready to go just straight into college. I think I need to, do some type, I would like to do like a travel program or something where I can see the world, talk to so many different people, learn different niches, and see what I really want to do. See what I want to do and everything. And I wanted to go into the Air Force and stuff like that. I wanted to do that and stuff. I added some type of structure, because I operate well in structure, where it's like you just give me something and I can operate semi-solo, where it's like I'm a part of a team, but I don't have this team constantly around me and everything. I can do my jobs and I can do what I gotta do and stuff. Even though as much as this current job right now, being patient transport, is annoying, it is very, very lenient when I can depend on myself and I can just do whatever jobs I gotta do and continue to push and continue to go forward. But yeah, I knew that once I graduated high school, I wasn't going to be ready to go straight into college, because I got too many passions, too many things that I mean, there's nothing wrong with like having too many passions and too many things you care about. But when it comes to college, you can't put everything in one major for the most part. A major is technically just a niche, something that you want to pick out and focus on for like, the next 4 to 6 years of your life. And I knew that I was like not ready for that, because I really didn't know what I wanted to do and stuff. And basically what I'm saying is I went to college unprepared, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. I was not prepared to do any of that out of high school. And I'm like, what, 19 turning 20, and I feel like, I don't feel like I had to have everything together, but there's definitely pressure and stuff, especially because next year my sister, she graduates high school. She's going to be a senior this fall, and then she's going to North Carolina for school and everything like that. So there's that like external pressure of like, okay, my sister has it together, in quotations and stuff like that. But I did give her some decent advice and stuff, so I can see why. But it's just another pressure. And I haven't told my dad yet that I'm taking the semester off, because I don't really feel like hearing it. I really don't. But I think I'm gonna hear it anyway. I feel like I'm gonna hear it anyway because at the end of the day, people are always gonna have their opinions. They're always gonna feel like they can say something about anything. That's just human nature. Like somebody's gonna always say something about anything. So I'm just. I think what I'm really trying to say in this segment here is I have grown to understand that right now I'm in a place of not caring. I do not care whether you like it or you don't like it. It's more of like as long as it not just benefits me, but it benefits my environment around me and the people around me, sustains it, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm great. I know I need this semester off because genuinely I have pushed my brain to limits that it can no longer withstand anymore. You know, like no longer withstand everything. Um, I haven't even thought about going back to therapy. I mean, that's still kind of like a rocky kind of thing with me because I've had about 3 therapists in my whole life, and it takes a lot to get to know somebody new and get within a system and everything. I'm not really willing to do that as of right now. I feel like where I'm at right now, I mean, you're gonna have something wrong with you. There's gonna be something wrong. Right now, I feel like this level of awareness that I'm at with it in terms of like how I operate and how I go about things, I'm no longer in a I want to talk about a situation. It's more of like I'm finding somatic ways to handle it before I go to somebody higher up than me and stuff like that. Which goes into the next thing, this on and off depression, which I've definitely noticed a lot of and everything in between. I mean, I was diagnosed with like, clinical mood disorder and everything like years ago, like in 2021. I was diagnosed with that, and I mean, it wasn't like a hard hitter or anything, but it's definitely something that I don't really talk about. And then last year, getting diagnosed with PTSD and stuff like that, like nothing. I don't really pay attention to it and stuff because it's just been so dimly integrated within my working system that I don't really whatever it. But I have noticed that lately, that's on and off depression has been kind of hitting harder because I've like chosen, to take a semester from school, and I'm also going to be adding some more, hours to like my work and everything, and trying to rebuild, stuff that has been lost and or is kind of just whatever. Um, there's been times where I was been able to get up in the morning, and then there's times where I have not been able to get up in the morning, and it's been very hard. Like there was one day where, not I think it was last week. One day last week where I just felt like shit the whole day. I got nothing done. I didn't take a shower until later that night. I like literally just bed rock. And if it's one thing I definitely notice about myself is when after I get through a stretch, it's like once the adrenaline of getting through of like having to go through a hard situation finally finishes, then it's like all of a sudden I kind of fall into like a bedrock kind of state. It doesn't last forever, but it's very much on and off because there'll be times where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm doing great, everything, and then there's times where it's like I wake up and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing a horrible job. I feel like I'm doing a horrible job. And yeah, I'm not gonna dwell on that too much. I'm not gonna dwell on that too much or anything, but yeah, like, it's been a little bit of a struggle. It's been a little bit of a struggle especially as of late, to try to find different things that make life worth the living sometimes. Because I feel like I said in a different video, but like the shit doesn't go away. It just mitigates itself somewhere else. But we manage it. And I think I do a pretty good job. And you know, stuff like that. But on to happier things. I'm in a relationship now. He's really cool. And we met at work. It was real cute. I didn't expect this to happen. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I did not expect this to happen. Because last time I talked to y'all, I was like very much just headstrong, steadfast. But I mean I still am. But I was very much still hard exterior. And like I said, we met at work. And it's crazy because, you know, I wasn't even thinking about it. At first. I was very like, you know, like, let's be a nice friend and everything, like, stuff like that. And then it just developed into this like, oh, I think I like you. Because sometimes I would, and I didn't tell him this, and it's funny because he's sitting on the phone right now. He's listening to me talk like this, so. But I sometimes purposely would just come down to the ED just to pass by him. Just to see what he was up to. Okay. He didn't know that, but now he knows because he's sitting on the phone listening to me. But yeah, I would just come down to the ED and just pass by and, you know, see what he was up to, whatever the case may be. And yeah, he's a really sweet, guys. He's really sweet. And he's very kind. And there's one thing that I very much like learned from him is just being very much more present than I already am. Just being very much more present. And being gentle. I didn't tell him this. He's learning now. He's learning of this information now. But yeah, he taught me how to be a little more gentle because, like I said, very much hard exterior. I can be aggressive about what I want, and I can be, and this is something that I noticed about myself that he's also allowed me to sit with, whether we're next to each other or not, and stuff like that. But I've started to approach things that I've, you know, have ambitions for and everything, like he does, more gentle and everything. He's very gentle in approach. If it's one thing that I've like definitely noticed about him, other than the other things that I've noticed about him and everything, he's very gentle in approach. It's not overbearing, and it's not like unsettling. It's very like warm and calm and stuff like that. He has the mannerism of a cat. He has the mannerism of a very friendly cat. You know, like they'll sniff you out and everything, and then once they like know your scent, then it's like, oh, hey, you know, stuff like that. Which, fun fact, he does have 3 cats and a dog, which I think is cute. But yeah, he carries himself like a very friendly cat, and I didn't even come to this until now. That's actually crazy. Wait, that's crazy. Because at work, he's like a swan. He's very graceful, you know, reserved and everything. But outside of work, he's like a cat and everything. And I find that dynamic really, really cool because at the end of the day, cats and swans, they are very graceful. They carry themselves diligently as well, and they're very loyal. They're very loyal animals. And I don't know what had me come to this analogy and stuff like that, But yeah, that's how I think. That's how I think of my man. He's very, very swan like at work. He's very cat like with me. And if it's like I said, if it's one thing that he has taught me out of everything, and mind you, he's listening to me talk right now. So this is the first time he hearing this. First time hearing this. If it's the one thing that he really taught me was how to approach my life with more gentleness rather than aggressive ambition. And like I said, he's very thoughtful. And we had an amazing first date in April. We went out the 25th. And he's somebody that I had no idea would be this pivotal in everything. I didn't expect him to have me get to these little mini pivot points in my brain where I'm like reconstructing some things, reconstructing some of my thought processes, and like reconstructing some of my approaches, like I said, with a whole bunch of different things. And I really appreciate him for that. I really appreciate him for that because I remember when I was waving hi to him, I would wave hi, out of politeness. And then sometimes I'll find him in little hiding spots, so I made it my own little personal game. And I was like, hey, friend, I see you hiding, or whatever. And then it just went from, it became like ritual for me to come down to the ED and say hi. Like, I wanted to be his friend so bad. And I remember one night, longest night we ever talked. We talked for about like an hour. An hour. No jobs came on my phone. No jobs really came on his, phone and everything. Mind y'all, these little pages we have, it traumatizes us real bad. Real bad. Where it comes to somebody's phone ringer sometimes setting us off. But besides the point. I just remember that moment being like, I really want to be this guy's friend. Like, I really want to talk to him more and everything. I want to get to know him and stuff. And everything that I thought on the inside, verbally, he said it out for me. It's like, oh, yeah, if you ever want to sit down and talk sometime. It's like, okay, yeah. And I remember going home and telling my family, to say, hey, I made a friend in the ED. And then I texted him that same night. I was like, it was a pleasure talking to you and everything. And then it just accelerated from there. And now he's my man. If you want to say hi to the people, you can say hi.
Hey, everyone. It's your boy, Timothy. Okay.
But as I come to this closing of this video, it is officially, it's May 5th. I overall within the past month have learned not just to slow down my life a little bit, but to slow myself down, and no matter what the things that are meant to come to you will find you, and they will reveal themselves to you. I no longer feel like I need to rush my life anymore. I don't feel like I need to rush. I don't feel like I need to, put myself in compromising positions, because everything that was meant to find me has found me. And I'm cool with that. Well, my garden little boo-boos, it is May 5th. It is 2:38 a.m. I am 19 years old. I'm studying social sciences, going into forensic psychology. I still have a dream, though, of being a full-on writer and film director, but that'll come in at some time if it's meant to. 19 going on 20 years old. Still youngin'. Still thuggin'. And until then, I will see y'all in the next vlog. Hopefully. Hopefully I won't have too much or whatever about. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. And thanks for tuning in.